Saludos a toda la afición de la lucha libre. Este que les habla es Michael Morales Torres, integrante del equipo de lucha libre online, y tengo el honor de presentarles a mi invitado en la tarde de hoy, directamente desde Maryland para el mundo. He is the man of the hour, Lio Rush. Lio, how are you doing today, sir?
Hey, what's going on, man? I'm doing pretty good. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. The pleasure is all ours. And we wanted to start talking about the hottest topic in the pro wrestling industry and music industry right now, and that's ever after you release your album, 14 songs, like Give It Up, Stranger Things, I Wonder, among many others. It was released on May 11th. It is now available for everyone in Spotify, Tidal, Apple Music, and basically every streaming platform available. Regarding your album, how big of an issue is this for you? I mean, you already had an album before this, but this is completely different from what you did before. What can you tell us about the Ever After album?
Yeah, I think this is a pretty big deal for me, just because this is my first album, like you mentioned, but this is also my first project, major project that I have done outside of the WWE since my announcement of departure. So, yeah, it's very special to me. This is something, a personal topic of discussion within this album that, took a lot for me to be willing to share with the world. Something like relationships, a lot of people go through them, but not a lot of people like to talk about, what they go through to the public. So really, really special to me.
Regarding your 14 tracks, I had the opportunity to listen a few of them, and they are really different from each other, especially the I Wonder one, which was your hit. I think it was earlier this year I started to listen it for the first time, and everyone actually loved that song. What inspired you to write I Wonder?
What inspired me to write I Wonder was personal experience. I feel like all of the music that I write, comes from personal experience or, expectations or where I see myself in the future. I think it comes from, being in a relationship and having some troubled times and trying to work out your demons, but at the same time doing it in a way that might not be favorable to your significant other. So, I think that it's a very personal meaning for me, and I'm glad that everybody liked it.
That's awesome, man. You also have a few other projects regarding those are obviously your pro wrestling tee store, Lio Rush. But talk us about musicbylio.com. What can you tell us about your website?
Yeah, musicbylio.com launched about a month ago. They can find all of my music that is on numerous streaming platforms such as Apple Music, iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, Tidal, etc. They can also find my merchandise where I have T-shirts, 8x10s that can all be signed. We have some incense on there that are made by my wife's hand-rolled incense, as well as some recent music videos that I drop over YouTube. So. A lot of cool things going on over at musicbylio.com.
Amazing. I'm gonna say this in Spanish to all our Spanish-speaking fans. A todos nuestros fanáticos, Lio Rush en estos momentos está en un proyecto importantísimo en su carrera, y ese es su disco Ever After. Está disponible ahora mismo, 14 canciones totalmente diferentes. Yo tuve la oportunidad de escuchar varias de ellas, de principio a fin está excelente. Está disponible en Spotify, Tidal, Apple Music y todas las plataformas de streaming como YouTube. Está también disponible varias de sus canciones en Instagram. Tienen que escucharlo. Pueden visitarlo en musicbylio.com. Vamos a dejarle esa descripción aquí en los comentarios. Lio, so let's start speaking about the pro wrestling industry in general. We read an article a few days ago that shocked us a little bit. It was from Sportskita, and it says that you were considering retirement from the pro wrestling industry. What can you talk us about that?
Just to clarify that statement, I never said that I was going to retire from the pro wrestling industry. I just said that there's a possibility that I might not step in the ring again, and I think that's the key word right there is might. Just because I do have other interests, I have other goals, other dreams that I want to accomplish, and there's a couple of things within the wrestling business, more so specifically, the WWE that I didn't really agree with, which is fine. I know that certain things work for certain people, and people have different morals, but it just so happened, to be a case of, there was a lot of things within the wrestling business, again, WWE specifically, that I just didn't morally agree with. So, I'm not going to say that I'm retiring, but, wrestling is definitely something that is last on my mind right now, obviously with the devastation of the release, but, on a more positive side, spending time with my family. I'm focusing my energy on things that I've always wanted to focus on, like myself, like my music, and I'm happy right now. So, no, I'm not saying that I'm retiring, but I'm definitely going to be, thinking really hard on if I want to continue to pursue this right off the release, right away. So I think it's just going to take some time to think it over.
Okay, and that's part of the healing process everyone has, because unfortunately you weren't the only person who got released. Many of your co-workers are in the same situation. However, you were the one that rise the fastest way, because you immediately had a website, and now your project was launched, which is the Ever After City. So you're definitely doing things in the correct way and in your own pathway, creating your own pathway. But regarding WWE, you mentioned a few things that you weren't. Okay, so you weren't happy in WWE, or you didn't agree morally, as you mentioned before. How was that experience backstage in WWE, both in NXT and the main roster? What was the principal difference between both places for you?
I think there was definitely a lot more people to deal with on the main roster. There's a lot more backstage hands involved, and what's being put on TV, what's not going to be put on TV. Writers, producers, stuff like that. NXT was a little more laid back. We only had like a handful of producers, and there were less than a handful of writers for the entire show. So. Yeah, I think that was the biggest difference. And then obviously the schedule, the traveling schedule, NXT only being taped at Full Sail University, and of course Raw, SmackDown, 205 Live, traveling across the entire country, as well as outside of the country. So yeah, big travel schedule difference as well.
So you mentioned 205 Live. You were the face of that brand, a former WWE Cruiserweight champion. I specifically love the product of 205 Live and what they can do. But in your opinion, why 205 Live never succeeded as expected? And what was the principal thing you need to deal backstage there?
I think it didn't succeed the way that it should have, because not enough attention was put on it, from the company. There was multiple opportunities, to continue to put 205 Live on the map. It takes a lot more than just the wrestlers putting on good matches. You saw that literally every single week, every single night. And, it takes a little bit more than that. It takes the people backstage caring. It takes, the people backstage wanting the product to succeed. And it takes, the same amount of time and energy that it takes for Raw and SmackDown and NXT to succeed. All those brands were successful because the time, energy, and thought was put in, and I felt like 205 Live lacked a lot of that, and it's a shame because like I said, all the people that are on that roster currently and back then, busted their ass. They made the crowd, they entertained the crowd, and the matches were incredible. So it's a shame that it didn't reach and still hasn't reached the amount of love that it should have.
Okay, let's speak about your different roles in the pro wrestling industry and in WWE specifically. You were a wrestler for a long time. However, in a small period of time, you made a transition from wrestler to manager. You had the opportunity to work with Babatunde in NXT and Lashley on the main roster. Creatively speaking, how difficult or how easy was for you to make this transition from wrestler to manager, and who had the last call about that?
I think it was difficult, but I got the hang of it pretty quickly. It was difficult at first because I was never known as a promo guy. I wasn't going out there and cutting promos every week, and I got signed to the WWE because of my wrestling. So when I got the call to be a manager for Bobby Lashley, it was very shocking. It was definitely nerve-wracking because I didn't have a lot of time to prepare. I didn't have a lot of time to study and practice my promos. I literally had to learn all of this on the fly. So yeah, it was definitely nerve-wracking, but just the way that I am and my work ethic and determination to succeed, or however you want to call it, I feel like I work best under pressure, and that was definitely a high pressure situation, needing to know how to talk, for a legend. So that was definitely nerve-wracking. But, like I said, I worked really hard to try my best to not disappoint, and luckily that worked out in my favor.
That's so cool, man, because not everyone had the gift and the ability to do both things, and did so good, man. You were so hateable as a character. I mean, I can hear in my mind the you calling Lashley, and it just boils my blood, man. But regarding the pro wrestling industry, you mentioned something earlier in this interview, is that at this point of your career, obviously you're focused in your music career and the Ever After production. However, Conan, the head creative for AAA, #1 brand in pro wrestling in Mexico, said in an interview with Hugo Savinovich and Roberto Figueroa that he was interested in acquiring or working with 3 specific wrestlers that were released from WWE at that point. 2 were Orlando and Eddie, which are Primo and Epico Colon, and the third person he mentioned, it was Lio Rush. Is Mexico in your future plans if the correct opportunity and offer come?
I definitely wouldn't rule it out at all. I wrestled in Mexico, a good amount of times, and those fans over there are really passionate, and they love wrestling. They love the wrestling. So, and also I think I've met Conan about once or twice, and both times have seemed very pleasant. Really cool, opportunity to meet Conan. So I'm a huge fan. I'm honored that he would, consider me to be a part of, that brand. That's really cool. And like I said, I would never, rule out anything. But like you said, I think the right opportunity, needs to present itself. I have a lot to think about other than myself. I have a wife, I have 2 kids, and I need to make sure that everything's in order to make sure that I'm happy and my family's happy.
That's so cool, man. To all our fans out there, and to the promoters, and to everyone who wants to book your services, first of all, what's your social media, Instagram, Twitter, and everything, and can you tell them your booking email?
Yeah, for sure. They can follow me on social media everywhere. I'm on Twitter at It's Lio Rush. I'm on Instagram at Rush Lio Rush. I'm on TikTok at Hey It's Leo. And my current email address is contactmusicbyleo@gmail.com for all business inquiries, whether that is wrestling, whether that is people wanting to purchase some of my wrestling memorabilia that I have for sale, or whether people want a musical feature or a cameo appearance or anything. That's the email that they can reach me at. Again, that's contactmusicbyleo@gmail.com.
Perfect. We will leave that email also in the comments. Lio, it's been such an honor to have you as our guest. To all our fans out there, you need to check out Ever After. You won't be disappointed. Trust me, I love that. Some of those tracks, the ones I had the opportunity to listen with. Just go out there, go to Lio's website and check it out. It's musicbyleo.com. Lio, it's been such an honor. Thank you so much for your time, and we wish you the best of lucks and success during this new opportunity of your career.
Thank you so much. It was an honor being a part of this interview. You too, by the way.
Thank you, man.